What's up, people? I want to introduce you a real hero. My next guest is Ranger Cole, 10 years sworn officer and 4 as a sergeant. Prior to that, he works with juvenile offenders. He is a retired major with 24 years of service in the Army. He served in Afghanistan and he was awarded with Bronze Star for service. Let's watch. Good afternoon, Ranger Cole. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm having a great day here in Kentucky. It's a great day.
It looks good over there. I love the trees.
Yeah, it's a neat park I work at. It's a neat park.
Awesome. So, can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been a sworn police officer here in Kentucky. State park rangers are sworn police officers. I've been a ranger for 10 years total, and then I also taught at a police academy for 6 years. And before that, I worked with juvenile offenders for quite some time. And I'm a retired Army major, and I served in Afghanistan in 2002.
That's amazing. That's a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So, Ranger Cole, what made you choose a career in law enforcement?
Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to serve. When I went to college, I got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and with the intent of being a police officer. But then what I ran into back then was the uncorrected vision test. But since then, they had changed the corrected vision test. If you could wear extended wear contacts and were correctable to 20/20, you could become a police officer. So I was able to take advantage of that.
That's amazing. So, I have a question now about law enforcement. What's the most original excuse you were given to get away for a citation?
One of the funniest things I ever had happen, I stopped a kid one time, and he pulled out a dependent ID card where his dad worked for the State Department, the U.S. State Department. And he goes, "It's okay, I've got diplomatic immunity." And I was like, "No, son, no, you don't. You're not in a foreign country, and you certainly don't have diplomatic immunity because your dad works for the State Department. So here we go." And he got a citation over it. But I thought that was about the funniest thing because he was just so cool. He was just so cool about it. He goes, "I've got diplomatic immunity."
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, talking about that, about funny things, what's the funniest thing that happened to you in your entire professional experience?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was funny. I was right out of the academy, maybe 2 weeks out of the academy, and a state trooper came by, and he was like, "Hey, Brian, be on the lookout. We've got people breaking in maintenance areas, stealing batteries, stealing spare tires, stealing catalytic converters. They're stealing about anything they can off the cars and trucks." So I was on the lookout. And anyway, I went by the maintenance area, and I heard this rum, 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 and I was like, "What in the world?" So I opened the gate up, and I eased in there, got my flashlight out, got in the position with the flashlight and the weapon, and I was searching for buildings, and I was announcing myself. I was like, "Hey, park ranger, who is that?" And I didn't hear anything, and I shined the flashlight, and I saw 8 eyes staring at me, and there were 4 of the biggest raccoons you'll ever see in your life. But there they was. I thought it was raccoons that was breaking in.
Did you arrest the raccoons?
No, help over that one though.
That's funny. Okay, let's change some gear here, and let's see. What's the most difficult situation you have found yourself in throughout your career?
When I was a park ranger, I used to ride a mountain bike and loved it. Loved riding the mountain bike. Well, anyway, I was going around checking the boat ramp, and I heard this sound, and I was like, "What is that?" And it's like everybody always said, it sounded like cats. So I looked down this creek, and there were 3 small kids that had fallen down the creek bank, and they were stuck in the mud, and about 50 feet from that creek bed would have washed them into the Kentucky River. So I told them, I said, stay put. And I rode my bike back as fast as I could and I got some rappel line that I had in the trunk of the car. And in the Army, I've been an air assault soldier, so I hooked the line up to a tree and did a body rappel down to them, and did like field expedient chest harnesses around 2 of them. And then I had the smallest kid. I said, "Can you hang on my back?" And he said, "I can." So he hung on my back, and I climbed back up the bank, and then got him taken care of. And then one at a time, I pulled the other 2 kids up because they had those chest harnesses. But I always thought it was just I would have never heard them kids if I'd been in a car.
Wow.
You know, if I'd been in a cruiser and gone by, I wouldn't have heard them. So it was just a good thing that day that I happened to be on bike patrol.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wow.
Because I asked them if they could. None of them could swim, and even if they could have, that current would have been too much for them.
I hear you. So, what's the most difficult aspect of being a law enforcement officer?
I think one thing it's a drain on family life, and I think it pulls you away from your family. And there is the schedule. I work till midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning, just about every shift. I work weekends and holidays. I mean, we're the opposite of most people. When most people are off work, we're at work. And I think that schedule becomes a grind sometimes.
Yeah, I think that affects all the police officer and all the law enforcement officer because while people are having fun or enjoying holidays, we are working.
Right.
And
yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's raining, there's storms. Sometimes we have winter storms and people don't have to go to work, but we do. Or
Right.
we have hurricanes and things like that. People are with the family and we have to pause our family life to go to work. It doesn't matter how dangerous it is, we are out there. So
Right.
I agree with you. That's the hardest part. Now, what comes to your mind when you have to take the gun out of the holster?
Well, here's a park ranger. Generally, it's twice. We'll get a burglar alarm go off, and what you cannot do, because we go in and you're armed, you cannot in the back. You have to push out of your mind. Oh, it's just a false alarm, or it's just a squirrel set it off. I mean, you have to stay focused, like there's somebody in that building, and maintain that level of focus while you're there. Now, like on a felony traffic stop, it always goes just comply. I'm just, in my mind, I'm like, don't do something stupid. Just comply with what I'm telling you to do. That's the biggest concern there is just do what you're told,
I agree. Yeah, we cannot be complacent. Danger is everywhere. And we don't want to get off guard. So, how you compare the military life with the law enforcement life?
Well, I've been on both sides of the fence. I was actually a police officer in 2001 when I got mobilized to go to Afghanistan. And I went to Afghanistan. I was gone a year in 2002. And when you have to decompress, and it's a lot. You're a lot more. I was, and everybody I've talked to has had similar experience. I was a lot more aggressive, and I was a lot more watchful and cautious and direct when I talked to people. And I had to relearn and ratchet it down. And I still had to be mindful, potential danger and potential hazards. But I had to talk to people different and tone it down. And I was able to do that. But initially I wasn't. And I had to, everything I started about, I had to take that out. You know what I mean? Out of my vocabulary. And I'm proud to say I have.
I hear you. So, you've been in law enforcement for long years. What motivates you to continue as a law enforcement officer?
I like how we serve. I've got a doctorate degree in executive leadership, and I did my dissertation on career choice factors. Why do people become police officers? And the number one reason is service. And it didn't matter with the officers that completed this survey if they were university officers, road deputies, if they were city PD, if they were state law enforcement agencies. By and large, the number one reason that people become police officers is to serve. And I actually replicated that study I did. I replicated from the California Post, and they found the same thing. They found the number one reason people become police officers is to serve. And I think that's
very interesting. Now, being a police officer is very dangerous. So, how do you want to be remembered if you die in the line of duty?
I want to be remembered that I was doing my job, and I was doing what I wanted to do. And that's the same thing when I was overseas in Afghanistan. If something happened to me over there, I wanted people to remember Brian Cole was doing what he wanted to do. And if something would happen to me as a police officer, I want people to remember I was doing what I wanted to do.
As you know, the main idea of my channel is, to change the concepts or the image that law enforcement have in the community, since the media are, damaging a little bit of that image in situations, in different kind of situations. So, what message do you want to give to the community about law enforcement officers?
I think one of the worst movements that we had was that defund the police. And I think what happened with that is it was misguided, and the people that needed that service the most are the ones that suffered from that. And you look at large cities across the United States, the homicide rate is up, carjacking is up, drug overdoses is up. There's two things happening with this. Less people are becoming police officers. I looked at a study that 87% of all police agencies are under strength. My agency is, your agency is probably under strength. Everybody I talk to, everyone I talk to is they're under strength. And so that happened. And then the attitude of police officers, assaults on police officers are up, homicides of police officers is up. And I think I think that was an unintended outcome of the whole defund the police. And it hurt the very people that need the police the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. It's really bad right now. We are understaffed, and our resources are very limited, and that complicates our ability to perform our duties. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Well, Ranger Cole, I appreciate your time. I really appreciate you sharing, your input, and I'm really grateful. Thank you for accepting my invitation to this interview.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you.
Well, thank you very much, Ranger Cole.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this interview. We're going to have more interviews like this very soon. So, if you don't want to miss those interviews, hit the button subscribe and then hit the button notification. That way, every time we upload the video, you receive a notification. Also, if you like this video, hit the button like. I hope to see you very soon. Have a good day and God bless you all.